Welcome to the Joyish Kingdom. In today's video, we have how I sold out 3 NFT collections and how you can also do the same with special guest, Cade. Before we get started, make sure you smash like in this video, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. If you're not following me on Twitter, if you're not my Discord down below in the description, you are only hurting yourself, fam. As you know, the goal of this channel is to instill the knowledge and confidence it's going to take to navigate this metaverse on your fucking own one day. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into the video. So how do you go about selling an NFT art collection? So especially for like art pieces, I've always just uploaded straight to OpenSea and just done it that way. It's just easier for me. I'm only making really one-of-one art pieces. I'm always a big proponent of making content around it. I think that's the best way. There's no way to beat it in my opinion. Or maybe if you like journaling or writing and you want to make blogs about it, that's also like a way to do it. Go into depth exactly why you took this photo or why you drew this piece and what it means to you. What are the themes that surround it? What are the things about you as a person that they kind of line up with? Why does this NFT mean something to you? Or just be upfront and honest. I just want to sell NFTs. Here's my art piece. I've been doing it for this for like many years. I've sold my art in real life, but I want to just dive into the Web3 world. Become someone who is someone in Web3. That's the answer. Become someone that people like and they want to be around. And that's the easiest way, because if you can build strong rapport with your fans, your supporters, your community, then people are going to want to buy your NFTs. The way I sold out all my NFT collections, where people just fucked with me, they liked the value I provided, and that was literally it. There's no utility. There's no announced thing. I don't go all the time posting about my collections and saying everyone needs to buy. Like, people just buy because they want to, and I think that's the healthiest way to do it, because there's no perceived thing that they get out of it. They're not like buying it thinking, how can I flip this as fast as possible? They're not buying this saying, what do I get now? They're buying it and they're fucking stoked to be part of your community. That's what you should focus on. I think that's the most effective way to make sales. If it's not a collection that's going to bring a bunch of flipping or a bunch of utility, how the fuck are you supposed to keep the floor price high like in your collections? This is a multi-pronged answer. There's multiple things you can do. 1, you make posts every single time someone buys one of your NFTs. Go onto Twitter, go onto whatever platform that you can find them on. Hopefully you can find their Twitter or something and shout them out. Give them a really warm welcome to the community. Thank them for buying your NFT, for believing in you, for doing all the things. One of the biggest things that Alex Hormozi talks about, he's a big salesperson. He owns acquisition.com worth over $100 million. He's so big on the first like 90 minutes or like the first day or something like that, very early on after they've bought your product or service, to send them like a fucking stuffed animal or a really nice welcome card, or send them a follow-up message, and just be super upfront and like overly enthusiastic, because a lot of people will make a judgment on their decision that they just made very soon after making that first decision. They go, man, was that a good idea? Or they're like, fuck yeah, thank God I made that decision. I'm so happy I made that decision. What a great idea. And you do something like send them a really warm welcoming message, or you welcome to the Discord, or you make a full video dedicated to them on TikTok or something. They feel so special and they feel so like excited to be part of your community that's one surefire way to keep the floor price high, because you make every single person in your community feel extra special. And that's how I've done it. You grow that community from the inside out by fostering who's already in there. If you only have 3 people watching your live streams, then your goal during that live stream is to make all 3 of those motherfuckers in your stream as happy as possible, and to get them to be like, I can't wait for that next stream, because they're gonna call their friend and say, hey, you should come to this guy's stream. And then you're gonna have 4 viewers, then you're gonna have 5 viewers, then that's how you build. That's how you slowly grow. My Discord had 12 people at one point. 12 people. Now there's over 1,600 badass motherfuckers in there, right? That's how it's done. You prioritize the people who are there, who do believe in you, and you don't worry about the people who haven't found you yet. They will come. Another way is just constantly taking screenshots of the NFT collection that you have and just making people aware of it. A lot of people don't really realize that your NFTs are even available. The amount of times I'll make a video or a post about my NFTs, and then someone who's been following me for a long time is like, how did I not know you had NFTs? The answer is because they just didn't fucking know. There's so many bits of content out there. So make sure you are posting it. Keep it relevant on the timeline. Make it probably once a week or every 2 weeks. Make a post about it. Say something. It doesn't have to be a screenshot of the floor or of the collection. Talk about something in your NFT collection. If someone in your community in that collection had something cool happen, say in our private Discord we talk about these things and this thing happened, and just like make it aware, make people aware of the collection and make sure that people know about it. And then if there's ever a time where someone in that community talks good about your project, screenshot that shit and post it. Always bring attention as much as you can to it. And then the last thing is make sure that you are doing everything in your power to be the baddest person on planet Earth. Because if you are someone that people want to associate themselves with, your NFT collection floor price value should reflect that same value. And it's not a surprise here with my collections. Half Ethereum on the Joyish, 0.48 on the Prequel, and 1 ETH on the Torch collection. And they are very small collections, right? I believe in the Genesis collections. I think that's the best way to do it. Small Genesis collections until maybe one day you do a big fat collection and all the Genesis holders get the most benefits out of it or something like that. I just believe in that way of doing it. I believe in fostering from the inside out, and it's been working for me. I went from 500 subscribers to YouTube to over 7,000 in just a few months. So I know that this does work. And if you haven't tried it, I highly suggest you try it. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't really think about that aspect of it. So is volume traded important? Because I see in your collections there's not a whole lot of volume as far as ETH trade, but there's also not that many items. So does it matter? What is the role that volume plays in an NFT collection? So this question depends on what the goal of the project is. If the goal of the project is to be like a 10,000 collection NFT PFP project, and your goal is to drive attention to it and build brand and IP and all that stuff, volume is going to matter a little bit. I do think that's important there. But if it's a collection like mine where there's 20 access keys, they're all geared towards supporting me as a person, and there's no inherent utility, it's a very different type of project. That's more of an art piece. They're buying an art piece that I took a photo of, and they're saying, I want to be part of this community because I just want to be here. That's period. That's end of story, right? And so because of that, no one ever fucking sells. Like, there's a reason that mine don't sell that often, because they're listed they're expensive. They're expensive as fuck, and there's only like 2 or 3 typically. There's almost never more than 3 NFTs in any single collection listed at the same time, because people just don't want to sell. Because the thought of them selling means that I'm out of Kate's community now. Plus, it's an intimate setting. I've talked to almost every single holder on a personal level because they're in my Discord, in the private Discord now, which is only like 40 people in there. And so they know me as a person. I know them as a person. If they sold my NFT, they're going to be like, oh shit, Kate's going to judge me. He's going to be upset. He's going to be like butthurt about it. So yeah, in conclusion, volume does not matter for all collections. You just have to identify what the goal of your collection is. If it's just to build a cool community of people who support you as a person, and it's not a big, avatar style collection, it doesn't matter. But if it is an avatar collection, you bet your ass volume's going to matter, because people are going to look at that and they're going to form this narrative about it saying, oh, people aren't interested. Oh yeah, it's differentiate the type of project it is. That is so smart. I bet a lot of people haven't heard of that. How many art collections should I release? Is there too many? Should I be capping it? Like, if one of my projects does well, should I immediately follow up with another collection? And then does timing matter? It's a bear market, bull market. Like, what do I do? So this question sparks a memory of mine from a long time ago, from way back when, in the bull run of last year, of 2021. Fidel everywhere, who was my first ever NFT collector. He bought my first NFT, shilled it. That's the reason my first collection sold out, actually. So shout out Fidel. He actually had a conversation with Alex Becker. I'm sure you know him if you're in the NFT space. Alex Becker basically hit him up. He said, hey, your collection's crushing it, obviously. He's the photographer for Black and White Nights. He said, your photography's killing it. Under no circumstances do you drop another collection.
Absolutely in no way do you drop now. You ride it out, you wait. If the work is good enough, people will continue to buy it beyond your control. And then eventually there will be a sensation of FOMO.
Let the hype and the story around this project blow the fuck up. That way, in a few weeks or a few months or whenever you drop your next collection, people will be anticipating it so much. You don't want to give them what they want immediately. You want to lure them on, dangle that stick in front of them, the carrot in front of them, and get them to really buy into you as a person and really drive that value into that first collection. Make that Genesis collection, that first collection, really fucking important and really fucking hard to get into, right? Because then that drives the belief in the project, the confidence of the project. People say, oh shit, I missed it. I fucking missed it. Now I got to get into the next one. I can't miss it, right? The longer you can draw that out and make content, you have to do something that's a buffer in between. Don't make a collection that, maybe it sells out and then just go ghost for 2 months and then drop a second collection. That's one way. That's not really going to work unless you're someone that's just ultra badass and you can do that kind of thing. Most people, if you just disappear for 2 months, they'll just forget about you. So what you need to do is figure out ways you can buffer until you can drop that next collection. Hopefully you can wait a couple months at least. I think it's better to wait at least a month, even though a month feels like a long time in NFT land. I think you should wait, build up a little bit of anticipation for it, make some videos, make some content, do some podcasts, something like that, to just get people to remember your face and your name and to be like, oh, this person is really cool. I really like what they're doing. They're out here building. They're building their own name. They're building their IP. They're getting bigger than they were last year or last month or whatever, and they drop that second collection on them, and you're super stoked about it. But I think in these kind of things, it's better not to just drop collection after collection after collection after collection, because that devalues each one every single time you do it. So have a goal with them. Like for me, my Genesis collections, there's really no more than these 3. There's going to be the 3 Axis key collections, and then the 3 Torch collections, and then I see that being it for my Genesis collections, right? After that, then the other NFT project will have to be a little bit bigger, in my opinion. They're gonna be more about getting more and more people involved in the ecosystem. It's not as much as me trying to drive value. I want to drive value into a small group of people, which is the Genesis holders. I don't want that to be too big, because if it gets too big, I can't actually bring them any value, and the goal is always to bring them value. So think about what you want to do. Think about what you can actually accomplish as you as a person. If you're not rich, then don't do a Genesis collection of 10,000, because you're not going to be able to give any of them value, right? If you're a small artist, make a small collection, keep it under a couple hundred, you know, do something that feels exclusive. You know, anything more than like a few thousand, it loses that exclusivity factor. And I think if you can keep it under like 100, those are where those kind of collections can fucking pop off and people don't want to sell them. And you can have that really high floor that you've always wanted. And then as far as a bull market, bear market, of course, in a better, healthier market, it's going to do a little bit better. People aren't really willing to buy things in a bear market. I still sold out my first Torch collection in a bear market, a total fucking bear market. Nobody wanted NFTs. I still sold that collection out because people believed in me. I'm building the bear market no matter what. So it depends on how much work you're putting in, how much people perceive you putting in work during the bear market. And then if the people in your audience have any fucking money, if any of them have jobs, if they have consistent cash flow coming in every month, regardless of the NFT and crypto market, it does play a factor, right? I'll put it this way. If there's a way you can capitalize on a little bit of timing in the market where some relief rally comes in, there's some new attention in the space, you can drop it then, that's better. But if you're just a creator, it doesn't really matter that much. The content you're putting out isn't really dependent that much on the market unless you're a very one-dimensional creator. So you kind of touched on this already, but like, how do you keep people to continually buy your NFTs so that the volume and liquidity doesn't completely dry out? Like, how do you keep your project relevant? And then like, is it better to have diamond holders and like flippers in your project? Like, what kind of person should you be wanting to attract in your project? That's a great question. And yes, we did hit on this a little bit, but I'm just going to reinforce in your fucking head again. It's content. The answer is fucking content. I know the answer you want to hear is not that, but that is the answer. That is how you keep yourself relevant in this day and age. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, it's all video content. You can do photos, but they're just not going to hit. You can't get the amount of branding, the amount of personality that you can fit into a video in any other format, in my opinion. So I think making videos is the best way to do it. Make people aware that you have your project. Every week you should be making one bit of content that talks about some aspect of your project, something that you fucked up the first time around, things that you want to do better the next time, why your floor isn't as high as you think, why are NFTs selling, and make videos on that. Don't be scared to make a video that doesn't exactly highlight your collection, right? Like, one of the things about my project, I'd love for there to be a little bit more volume. The problem is the floor is so fucking high, so people don't want to pay it. There's not any utility to it, so the cards are stacked against me, technically speaking. Now, my goal is not always to have a lot of sales in my NFT collection. Those will come as my brand grows. So my goal isn't to sell out the NFTs so much, is to drive hype and attention toward it a little bit in some ways, as far as like my goal with my NFT collections is more so that people are aware of them and that they're aware that it's very expensive to buy in because my brand is something that's very special. That's my goal. I'm a YouTuber. I'm trying to be one of the top YouTubers. That's why my goal is so specific. If you don't have a specific goal, you need to find one. Because if you don't, you will always be aimlessly wandering. And if you're aimlessly wandering, your floor is going to do a whole lot of this. You're going to have the floor price at 0.08 one day and then 2 ETH one day. And it's not going to make any sense. People aren't going to know if it's worth anything. They're going to be like, oh, they have NFTs? What? Like, you know what I mean? And that's a long process. That can take a long time. I've been making videos for 10 months in the NFT space. Yet there are people who've been following me for 10 months who are just now hearing about my NFT collection from this fucking video. It's gonna happen. There's gonna be someone in the comments that says, I've been watching you for 10 months and I had no idea you had an NFT collection. Like, that's gonna happen, guaranteed. So just make sure people are aware, post about it. Diamond holders or flippers, it depends on the kind of project you want. If it's a project with 8,000, 5,000, 10,000 NFTs, people are going to look at that volume. Why haven't any sold in 10 months? Why is this project, it looks dead, right? But if it's a creator-led focused project where it's all focused on supporting the creator as an art project, very different story. I'd rather have diamond holders and the occasional high ticket sale. That works better for me because I can go onto Twitter right after, send them a congratulations, welcome tweet, and say, because I get to flex, this NFT is sold for 1 Ethereum. This is the new current floor. Thank you for joining the collection, the brand, blah, blah, blah. And I post that tweet. Looks good for me, looks good for them. Everybody's happy. Yeah, that's not the answer I wanted, to be honest, but I think that's the only way to get this done. Okay, last question. Explain the utility. How am I gonna be able to get these people utility when I don't even have a lot of money or resources? Like, how the fuck am I supposed to give my followers anything? You know, I don't think I can. Like, what do I do? You know, this is arguably the most important question that you've asked so far. So great question, Cade. And here's the thing. When I dropped my collection back in the summer of last year, I had no fucking clue about anything. None of us did. I promise you. Last summer, nobody knew jack shit about anything. It was a very different world out there. And if you've been an OG since then, congrats, because we somehow survived and we're here right now. When I dropped my collection, I had no idea. Had no idea about utility. I didn't even know. I was dropping an art collection. That's very different than a PFP collection. Very fucking different. Very different. So, since I was dropping an art collection, I had no utility. I still have no technical utility. They get the free clothes, they get access to my Discord, they get 3x spots on my whitelist stuff, but that's not really things I talk about. That just happens in there every now and then, but it's not something I want to put on, like, I don't want to stamp that on paper and be like, boom, you get these things automatically guaranteed. I get this many whitelists a month. Like, I don't have anything like that. I don't have any inherent utility. What I have told them, and I've been very open and communicated about this before, after, and during when they're buying. When they're in my community, when they're leaving my community, when they're entering my community, they know exactly what they're getting. They know exactly what they're getting themselves into when they buy my NFT. They know exactly why they bought, they know exactly what they're going to get, and they know exactly what they're not going to get. They know it's not an alpha pass. They know they're not going to get any inherent utility. They know it's probably not going to be a big flip because people aren't going and buying and selling my NFTs so much. It's one of those you buy and hold. That's the kind of project it is. And I pride my followers, I pride my supporters on thinking long term. The people who buy my NFTs think like me, because that's the content I put out. I drill confidence in them. I drive education. I drive empowerment toward them. And those are the things that they don't want to leave my community because I instill those things in them and my audience. I'm also growing. Every single month, I'm growing bigger. Every single month, I'm getting bigger guests on my podcast. I'm getting more numbers and more subscribers. I'm growing as a content creator, and they see that growth. And I also allude to them all the time in my videos, on my tweets. I talk about the Joyous Kingdom. I talk about the Royalers. I talk about them, and they feel excited to be there. It's the narrative. It's the narrative around your brand and yourself as a person that people buy into, and they say, I want to be part of that fucking journey. I don't want to miss this train before they go to the moon. So you technically don't need utility. What you need is for them to believe in you as a person, as a creator, as an artist, and say, I fuck with them. I like them. So you need to get them to like you. So you build rapport. You drive value in your content. Try and bring them some kind of value, whatever it is. If you're a teacher, if you're an artist, there's something that you know that they don't, and you can talk about that in videos. It doesn't have to be this scripted thing. It doesn't have to be any pressure. As long as you don't put that pressure on yourself, there doesn't need to be pressure. So when you drop your collection, be very open and very transparent with exactly why and what they're gonna get. And if you're open about that from the start, there will never be FUD, there will never be angry customers, and you will get exactly what you want, and you will be able to build that community that you've always wanted from the ground up with these Genesis holders that fucking trust you and they love you. You've got this. You can do this. Just be transparent and be open with them and just create that community. They will love you. Well, shit, I feel fucking empowered as fuck. And I think your NFTs are linked below in the description, so I'm probably going to check those out right now, honestly. Cade, thank you for coming onto the channel. Thank you for asking these questions. I'm sure a lot of people had these kind of questions. They're maybe too scared to ask. If there are questions that I missed, drop them below in the comments, though. Make sure you drop a like this video, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. If you're not following me on Twitter, if you're not on my Discord down below in the description, you are only hurting yourself, fam. If you want to see more right now, click on one of these boxes on the side of me. Until next time, continue your joy, continue to learn, and be grateful for your life watching this video.